Was the stand any better?
No, it sucked as well. I got, well, no, it was fine. I got asked to do the 10. It was like a last minute thing, and they're like, you can run out stuff for Glasgow if you want. So I was like, great, nice. When do you get the chance to do that at the weekend?
Yeah.
And I was like, so I'll try some new stuff, and I'll bring my camera because I'm starting to try and get better at filming shit.
Yeah.
Because I was listening to you and Susan bitching about this.
Hated it.
Yeah, me too.
Hated it, man.
It's not part of the job. I was like, I'll do a couple of old ones and I'll get nice clips of them because it'll be a big audience, and I'll try some new shit. And I get there, they're a bunch of Stephen cunts. I was like, well, obviously I'm not trying any new shit. And they were too busy, so I couldn't even put my camera up. So I was like, well, this is just a non-starter, this gig. It's a waste of time. Yeah,
it's a big fucking waste.
And then the mic wasn't on for the first 8 minutes.
And you're up? No, so who's opening?
I was just in the middle. Connor was on. So the 2 minutes that was amplified was pretty good. But I couldn't, when you're like, the mic's not on and that's fucking this gig, but I can't be bothered making a deal out of it. I was like, I'm just going to shout and get off. I'm just going to have this not be very good.
I'm the same. If that mic doesn't, I don't do the awkward thing of trying to be like, oh, well, we're trying, I just go, fuck the mic, and like, I'll just shout.
Yeah.
Rather, because in that moment of trying to fix the mic is my idea of hell. Of that, like,
I've been on the stage doing that and it's shit. You lose all authority immediately.
Yeah, so I've just kind of just gone, all right, we don't need this, and then just started shouting. And my voice has been fucked the next again day. Yeah. But it's just like, if you, in that little awkward moment of like, will we get this? Can someone come and help? And that's just, you've lost it.
You do look like a little virgin that doesn't know what's going on. Yeah.
Even in the beginning when I didn't know how to work the mic stand for about the first 4 years.
It's funny that, isn't it?
It's such a simple thing.
Do you know what I've noticed? And I'm not slagging them out because I like these people, but poets never know how to adjust a mic stand.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a skill they need to learn.
Nah.
They're always so awkward, and they get someone else to come on and like adjust the height. You're like,
I've never seen that. That's come on. Beautiful.
This is meant to be showmanship. It's funny how much of it is that, though, isn't it? Like, it's not even like learning to tell jokes necessarily, but you just need to like look like you can hold a mic.
If you come on and just sound like you know what you're doing, because I've been at shows when someone's a really good comedian's come out and they've come out awkward start, and then they've got to spend the next 5 minutes trying to even just slightly win it back, and you're like,
even just I hate those mic stands where it's the 3 prongs.
Oh.
Like that, and then the cable will be tied round, and if you spend your first 5 seconds on stage going like that, you already look like a useless cunt that does not know what, and you're like, I've done 1,000 gigs, like I'm quite good. But you fucked it, isn't it?
It's the 3, they're just like, it's like really weak
awkward
feet, the weak feet of the thing. It's just like really, oh my god, that is the worst mic. The one at Monkey Barrel, Free For All on Monday, the bass is so wobbly that I tried to put my foot on the bass to like then like tighten the mic stand, and I hit it and the mic just slapped me in the face. Glasgow stand where the mic comes out. Beautiful.
Oh, where it's wireless?
It's like, wireless.
Do you like that? I like a wired mic. I don't like a wireless.
No, I just like to be able to just you
give one of those people that goes into the crowd.
No,
like, I've got no jokes. I'm coming in amongst you. One of that lot.
Fuck, that's what I do.
I can't. I've literally never gone anywhere near the crowd. I see some people doing it, and I just think, what if they just slap you in the face?
Some people can do it, and it's really funny.
Yeah.
But when you see a bad version of that, you're like, this guy's struggling.
Have we started, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. That's normally how things run here.
Yeah. The Rory Scovel. Like I mean, me and you've got a mutual love of.
I absolutely love that man.
It's anytime I watch him do stand up, I always think that's who I want. That's what I want to be.
Yeah,
that's what I want to be.
And with respect, we're both so far from that.
Oh my god, nowhere near.
Yeah,
like the amount of the lack of improv that goes into my set is just astounding. There's nothing. It's just like I know exactly what I'm saying.
Writing in ad-libs and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't mean it like that. Love it when people do that. You always feel like such a prick when you do that, don't you?
And especially when they don't get the reaction and they say the line anyway, and you're thinking, what are you doing?
Yeah, Rory Scovel is so good. And I don't know about you, but I always feel like a wank when... Do you have like... So like one of the main things people ask you if they find out you do comedy, what are your favourite comedians, who do you like?
Yeah.
And then I always name a bunch of people they've never heard of, and then I feel like a dick.
Yeah.
So do you just have fake ones that you say? I just go Peter Kay.
I go Mickey Flanagan, Kevin Bridges.
Yeah.
That's my go-to.
Because too many times I've been like John Kearns, John Mulaney, Rory Scovel, Tim Key, and they're like, I don't know who any of these people are. And you're like, they're like all really famous, actually.
There's just no point in saying you're Rory Scovel, and then they go, what's he like? And then trying to describe him.
Well, he's sort of freewheeling, very loose on stage.
Yeah. His
And they're like, yeah, that doesn't sound funny at all.
yeah. But then if you showed them it, if you showed them the try stand up for the first time, they would love it.
Have you seen the Charleston special?
Yeah, you sent me the link to that years ago, and now the link doesn't work.
Oh really? It was on Vimeo. I don't know how you can get it.
Yeah, it's not there anymore. But is it Live Without Fear or Live Without Fear?
Yeah, the YouTube one.
That one, that is just beautiful. Just doing improv, going up with nothing to say. Could you do that? Like, do you think in some way?
Not really. I'm way closer to it now than I used to be. So scripted when I started, and I was very rigid because I was terrified, and it's like everything's tight, and you're like, I'm saying everything exactly the way it's meant to be, and if anything happens in the room, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
And I can't get the mic on the stand. Now I'm a lot more loose, but it's still very written. You know what I mean? But I don't know. People work in different ways, don't they?
Yeah. I see people that kind of go, I'm just going to go up on stage and work it out. I go, what the fuck are you doing?
They're always shit people that say that. So it's always like someone new at Red Dawn, like maybe write 5 because this is actually really hard.
Yeah, but I've watched that a good few times, and I just love. It's the one thing I watch. I go, I'd love to be able to do that, and I think I will in like future years. I'd love to do like a crowd work show, or even just something like that.
You're like a good host.
I like it. I think that's the kind of. It's the one thing you can just like. Just so unscripted. I love it. When you go up to host, you're just going to go up and you're just going to go, anything can happen here. And I love that. That's the one show I would love to do. But
see, when you come to do your Fringe show this year, are you going to try and incorporate a bit of that, or is it going to be like, these are all my bits?
Well, I think last year's one was very much, you would probably have felt like you were coming to like a club set.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's fine.
Where are you all from?
But people like that. It's not.
The first 10 minutes of my Fringe show will be crowd work. Without fail. And then at least then you've got something to come back to.
What you don't want to do is 10 minutes of crowd work and then like 30 minutes of jokes and then just so where are you from? Back to the crowd, like, this guy is struggling to fill this hour.
Whereas I had the beauty of it last year is that there was nothing on after me. I was the last show.
Right.
So
if
I
was like a Dave Chappelle 6 hour.
Yeah. So if I just rattled through it in like half an hour, I'm like, show's done, people. Let's hit the road, people. We're done for the night. That's the ideal. And I think I might have the same this year. Nothing on after me.
What time were you last year?
Oh, I think I was like 11:30.
Yeah, you're like a late night guy. You should put like a suit on and have like a cocktail or something and be like a nightclub comedian.
But in actual fact, last year, before I went on stage, this is how lame my Fringe was last year. Just before I went on stage, I would dissolve a vitamin C into a plastic cup of water, down the vitamin C.
Vitamin comedy.
And then be like, right, let's get this show on the road. Because I don't know what that is. It just gave me a little. I did it one night. I was dying. I was like, right, I need to do this, and that was it. That was my little pre-gig ritual.
My faith in those fizzy tablets to cure me of everything is unparalleled, by the way. I don't even know what they do, but I'm like, that will cure all my problems, mental and physical. When you see it fizzing, you're like, there's no way that's not going to improve my life.
Yeah, it just looks so healthy. The orange colour of it, everything, the packaging. I'm just like, oh yeah. Yeah,
there's another one. Bath bomb for your soul.
Yeah, it's like electrolytes. There's two. I've got the vitamin C one. I've got the electrolytes one. I don't know if they do anything. It's definitely placebo.
I suspect it's nonsense. Yeah.
Yeah, but last year that was me. Nothing, no alcohol, just vitamin C.
Do you ever drink before you go on?
If I'm doing like a Saturday night and I'm not in Edinburgh, I will. But most of the time I've like driven to the gig. But two drinks is a good level. I do find myself a bit loosey-goosey after two.
A little bit catty and cheeky, yeah, so I like that.
Very cheeky as hell. Cheeky as hell, Stu.
And you can be cheeky like the best of them.
Do you do it? Because I beyond that, I start forgetting why I'm even there.
Yeah.
I forget what I'm trying to say.
I am not like a functional person on any substance. Yeah. You know, people that are like, oh, I can get stoned and right. I'm like, can you hear yourself? Are you mad? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like last night I gigged, I was sober, and then I had a pint with Michael after, and even after that, I felt a bit like I'm not like a lightweight. I'm used to it, but I can't function. The idea of having even one pint and doing anything is crazy. Yeah. Sometimes if I care so little about the gig, I will have a pint or two. But it's a sign of disrespect, really, for me, because it's a guy doing his job badly. Yeah,
but and that's the thing. It literally is that fine balance, and I couldn't find the balance, so I just kept going too far, and then I'd go up on stage. And I would just like go over my time. I would slur my words, even like after 3 drinks. And I'd be like, I'm a bit of a lightweight. I literally can't handle a drink anymore. So like that is just my idea of hell. Especially
it's a bit of an anxiety dream thing, isn't it?
Yeah, so no, I can't do it. Vitamin C all the way. Highly recommend that.
I've only ever been pissed on stage once, and it was the best gig of my life at the time.
Yeah?
And I was like, it was an accident. I thought I was gigging the next night. I was shooting The Fringe. I was new. And it probably was a good gig because I was really tense and rigid all the other time, but then when I was pissed, I wasn't giving a shit. And that loosened me up.
Yeah.
But I was like, I can't just have 6 pints before every gig.
God, no. No,
So I need to learn how to access this looseness without being drunk.
Yeah, I did. I used to like drink heavily before like in my first year. I used to get the train through Glasgow for like Yes Bar gigs, and I would sit in like double like whiskies, like double like rum, anything like that, and it wouldn't do anything because the adrenaline was just cancelling it out. But I would spend like 30-40 quid on drink. And I would just have to.
I imagine you're not getting paid.
Oh, I was not getting paid. No,
it's a cool £40 loss.
And the train. So
on
I'm
like a Tuesday night.
I'm hemorrhaging money before I've even set anywhere near the stage. So I was just like, I cannot do this. This is not sustainable to do that.
It's funny pitching you in Yes Bar, to be honest, because I don't know if it's just because you're like an East Coast guy to me, and I've always been in Glasgow and you've always been in Edinburgh while I stand up. But I mean, when did you start?
2016.
Yeah, so I started in 2015. So I see us in the same school of like everyone was gigging at Yes Bar all the time.
All the time.
It's like that movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once. But just every version of shit comedy in this room all the time.
Yeah, that's like the first 2 years was in Glasgow.
Yeah,
just at Yes Bar. Nowhere else would book me, so I just drove through. I got the train through all the time, and some of them were atrociously bad.
And for the listeners, this is like a little bar in Glasgow, and it's been closed for what, 4 years?
Yeah,
pre Pando.
Oh yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
But it's still there, and it's still got a sign in the windows saying we're closed due to plumbing issues, which really makes me laugh. And I hope it's always there, and I hope that sign is always there. I walk past it all the time, and it just makes me laugh seeing it.
Yeah, that was the big thing. It was just like, plumbing issues, and then what that was actually code for is that someone had lost the bar in a divorce, was it not?
Something like that.
It was absolutely beautiful. I met so many people there, and I've told this to a few people of like, when you start out and you think someone's amazing.
I was thinking about this yesterday, yeah.
There was a few people, I'll fucking name them. I used to think when I started, I met him and I was like, holy shit, he's got the audience.
He's got shit hot.
Yeah, I genuinely thought he was like a superstar when I first started out.
Yeah, I do remember that feeling of like, you don't know how good anyone is. You don't know how long anyone's been doing it.
Yeah.
And it is a bit like that thing of like, if you're at like a Davy Mitchell gig or something. Have you spoke about that on here?
No, Davy Mitchell's a legend, and I will hear nothing else about it.
I think Liam
back on the scene.
Liam mentioned it like very briefly, but
yeah, I was listening to that episode actually. I always listen to this when I'm out of Scotland. I was listening to it in Newcastle last week, and I was thinking about because I'm trying to film stuff like what you and Susan were talking about, and I was trying to remember my old jokes, and I've got such a bad memory I couldn't remember them all. And then you and Liam did one of my old jokes, and I was like, oh great, I'll do that.
Yeah, he who should not be named for legal reasons.
So, tried it last night, didn't work very well. But anyway, yeah, when you go to a gig like that, if someone just looks like they can take the mic out or something, like, fucking hell, this is Lee Evans. What? Because you're kicking to like literally just comedians.
Yeah, and they've been doing it maybe like 5 years.
Yeah,
head.
Some of the people you thought were shit hot when you think that's so funny. There's a guy who I actually still kind of think was quite funny, but do you remember Daniel Webster?
Yeah.
I remember thinking he was hilarious.
Yeah, but he was brilliant.
Man, he was brilliant. He used to have a bit about those gifts you can get someone for like, it's like a gift card, but it's for like a military boot camp.
Yeah.
Imagine getting it's like, never mind airstrikes in Syria. What about airstrikes on your fat arse? All that kind of stuff.
That's good.
It's just a shame. I think all these bits that like are just like, that will never be recorded anywhere.
Nah,
it's oral tradition that's keeping it
Yeah,
alive.
and that's the thing. If all the clipping had been out like all those years ago, which I'm very glad it wasn't. I'm so glad. I've still got my second ever gig on my YouTube channel, like unlisted.
Really?
And I was actually like, one day I'm going to listen back to it, but I can't do it, man. Of like some of the early bombings. Because some of them were bad. Some of them, like, I would like have to then drive back to Edinburgh after a bombing at Yes Bar.
Yeah.
It's a car journey alone with your thoughts for an hour.
It's a lonely place to be. Do you still, see if you have a bad one now, does it still affect you?
No. I've got like, maybe like a 5-10 minute window after coming off, and I'm like, fuck it.
Walls.
I get more annoyed that I didn't manage to put the gig to good use.
Yeah, you've
like
wasted your evening.
Yeah, so if I'm like trying to like, if I've got like a big gig coming up, and in my head, right, I've got 4 gigs between this next one, I'll just be more annoyed now that like, fuck, what a waste of time that was. Whereas, yeah, some of them I'm just like, you just can't care anymore. What about you?
Yeah, no, I'm the same. It used to really bother me.
Yeah.
Worst one, like early doors. I think the worst one was when it was like a journey.
Yeah.
Like my first ever overnight stay was a gig in Dumfries. I've never had a good time in Dumfries, by the way. If the people at Dumfries are watching, I don't know what's going on down there, but it was in like a big banquet hall, which is a nightmare. And even now, I would probably not have that good a one in that room because it's a horrible setup.
Yeah.
Big tables, big room, and it's like December, so everyone's fucking lashed. I'm doing like 10 in the middle, just fucking eating bags of shit. But it's got like a fucking, you got to stay over and just sit in it all night.
Yeah.
Like if I die now, I'm like out the exit.
Oh,
I'm on the train,
yeah.
headphones in. I've got a chippy. I'm home. I'm in bed. I'm happy. But to have to sit in it, and I'm sure you won't mind me saying, but Chrissy Ross was on as well. He was the other 10 in the middle. We're both kind of new together. And in his act at that point, I forget why, if there ever was a good reason, but he poured a bottle of beer over his head on stage. I think maybe just in an attempt to get something going in this room. Let's make something happen.
Yeah.
And I don't think it worked. But then we had to share a bed together that night, me and Chrissy Ross, which is big planes, trains and automobiles vibes, because
he's a big guy.
He's larger than me.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Him covered in beer. We're having a laugh together and we had a good time. But yeah, just that next morning you're at like the breakfast booth with your fucking hoodie up over your head, facing the wall. Everyone was at the gig.
But all the audience members who were there stayed at the hotel as well.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just like a host, like a captive.
Yeah.
And then even the next day it's like, what, 3 hours back? Like this is just, it just feels like you're dying for like 30 hours.
Have you had that? You had like recognised in the street?
Yeah, that does happen sometimes. Usually now it's quite nice.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm not famous, it's like still exciting for me.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's shit. I got when I used to work at the escape room, it's called Can You Escape? It's just down the road.
Yeah.
And when I was starting stand up, and I'd worked there, and I'd done Monkey Barrel before they had a venue back in the Beehive days, which used to be quite a rowdy gig up the top of the Beehive in front of stags and hens and everything.
Yeah.
And I think I didn't have a good one, which was quite common back then at that audience when I was sort of earning my licks. And I was working the next day and a stag do came in and they'd been at the gig the night before. So it's fucking hard. It's hard for like 2 minutes when you meet someone they've seen you had a bad one, but when you need to be in character as an astronaut for an hour, you're really earning your minimum wage.
That's an astronaut.
So guys, who's excited for the, you're like trying to fucking tits and teeth your way through this shift for a good TripAdvisor.
Oh my god. That's amazing. I didn't know they did astronauts in there.
I also got recognised that when I used to work at the Harry Potter escape room round the corner, again, round a different corner, ran by Monkey Barrel. And at that one, I got recognised simultaneously at the same time by a guy. He recognised me from Scott Squad on telly, but also from working at the other escape room down the road, which really took the shine off of it. It's like, oh, you're on telly, and also why are you still working at a fucking escape room?
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh my god, Sue, that's so funny, man. Were you in like full astronaut like?
I used to have to wear a boiler suit in that one.
All right, okay, so you didn't have like a space.
I had a cloak on at the second one though, so take your pick really, both funny images.
Oh my god, that's so funny, man. I cannot stop visualising that.
Obviously, I was shit at that job as well. I was terrible at being in imagine me being an astronaut, you know what I mean? It was like half-arsed at best.
And did the stag say anything to you? Did they like?
I think they were probably all right about it. They weren't like slagging me or anything, but I think it was like, oh, this guy kind of sucked last night, and now here he is again.
Yeah.
Like no one wants this.
Oh god, it's fucking hell. So I mean, you've done quite obviously we've kind of gone through paying your dues in the early stage, but you've got some pretty cool gigs coming up. I mean, you got so you're doing Latitude Festival.
Yep.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. That'll be good. Weirdly, I've done it before.
Have you?
When I first started, bizarrely, because I did the Chortle student competition, and they do like a thing where like the finalists of that get to do 5 at the top of like the comedy tent or whatever.
Oh shit!
So like my 20th gig or something like that was to like 2,000 people or something like that, and I've never played to that size again since.
Oh my god, man.
And now I'll go back 8 years later, 8 years better, and I'll play to like 12 people in a tent or something. But it'll be fun. I think I'll enjoy it.
I mean, it's not like the best comedy environment, but for me, that's just like would be such a cool perk. Because I'm guessing, are you just getting to stay there for the weekend?
Yeah, I get a +1 as well, so I'm just going to take a pal and just hang out.
Oh, mate, that's so, because the lineup is
it's decent,
pretty cool.
The good one thing about that one is they really prioritise comedy. So even when I went in 2015, I'd see loads of bands, but like the comparative level of the acts for like stand up, like they always get really good stand ups.
Yeah.
Like I don't know who curates it, but like they know the shit. And then yeah, so there'll be loads of good stuff on. Yeah.
And you just find it. You
could see Pulp. That'd be good.
Yeah, I was scared, but they still be doing it though.
Oh yeah, the bassist died. I wondered about that. That was a very selfish reaction I had when I saw their bass player die. I hope I still get to see them.
I mean, it's probably when is it? Is it July?
Yeah.
I mean, it might have found. It might. If it was
just on Gumtree, bass player wanted no time wasters. By the way, we're Pulp, the famous band.
But even if it was like next month, it'd probably still be a bit too raw.
Yeah.
But July,
well,
that's not too bad.
I'll try and meet Jarvis backstage and I'll put this argument to him.
Yeah, I mean, that would be pretty cool. I mean,
I've got time to learn bass, I think, by then.
No, mate, you could definitely do that.
Yeah. All those songs.
Yeah. I mean, I fucking love pop. Well, some of the rest of the lineup is cool.
Yeah, there's loads of good bands.
So you getting like, if you got to camp or they give you accommodation?
Yeah, which was exciting the first time because obviously, you know, it's like you kind of meet a lot of people in comedy now. But like when I was brand new, you're like, I was just like, oh, sitting having breakfast next to Al Murray. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's in the toilet queue behind Natasha Dimitru.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. You know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Because we talked about as well about the Arctic Monkeys. You did a brilliant podcast with Christopher MacArthur-Boyd about all the Arctic Monkeys albums, your love for them and everything like that. It was fucking brilliant. I'd highly recommend going and listening to it. But you were kind of just towards the end. You were trying to get in at like the last Shadow Puppet. It said seeing Arctic Monkeys live. Have you seen them live a few times?
Yeah, I've seen them a bunch. Yeah, I've seen them something at Finsbury Park in London.
Oh, nice.
I've seen them at Tina Park. I've seen them at Transmit. I've seen them at the Hydro, Aberdeen.
Are you going to see them this year?
Yeah, I've got tickets for Bella Houston. Yeah, you going?
I'm going. Yeah.
We both look like we'd like the Arctic Monkeys. It makes sense. There's going to be a lot of people that look like us and a lot of people I know personally.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people in bucket hats as well. There's the kind of the mad Glaswegian cunts as well. There's definitely that.
People who haven't enjoyed anything they've done for, what?
Yeah, the last
almost
2 albums.
15 years. I guess AM's the exception. But.
Yeah, it's going to be... I can't imagine what their live show is going to be like now. Because to go from all your old bangers to Tranquility and into the new album, I don't know how you transition and all that.
Not many of those people would go and see another band playing like, you know, Italian soundtrack music.
Yeah, it's going to
I think it's class personally, but...
I didn't like when I first listened to Tranquility Base, I didn't like it. It was only when that new album came out, I went back and I listened to it and I was like, actually, do you know, it took me a bit of adjusting, but I kind of got there and I was like, actually, I really like this.
It's great. I literally remember Transmit at 2018, which, you know, I've been a few times to that and it's like, you know, it has its specific crowd.
Yeah.
But that was like one of the most fun ever. Like it was so good.
Yeah.
I just remember a guy in a bucket hat towards the end. They played Star Treatment, which is the first song of Tranquility Base.
Yeah.
The most loungy, slow song. Yeah. It's a great song. I love it. One of my favourites. But I just remember this week, guy next week going, how the fuck do I go fucking mental like this?
Oh, it's true though. How do you do it?
I would argue there's more to art than just going mental to it.
Yeah, but that's all they want. Yeah. That's all they want.
I can go mental, sure.
But
you can't just go mental all the time.
Can't go mental and Star Treatment.
Everything. There's got to be some light and shade, man.
Take a breather. Jesus Christ. The first time I think like I've seen them a few times. I assume in like SECC.
Was that Humbug?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at that one. Yeah.
And then like I think where else? Like seen them at like Glastonbury, like Tina Park, everything like that. The first time I ever saw them was Tina Park did like a Friday night for the first time ever, and it was the very first Friday. It had like Lily Allen, I think maybe Block Party and Arctic Monkeys on, and it was just it was fucking. I think it was maybe 2007, 2008, and it was just like
different vibe. Stuff's on fire.
Yeah, it was wild. It was just, I just remember that as being like one of my favourite live like music moments ever. It was just incredible to see that.
It must have been, obviously that's not quite when they're still just on the, I guess they are on the way up still,
yeah.
But it must have been nuts to see them before they really, like any band that just becomes like, they're just going to play arenas forever. To see them on the way up must be really cool.
Yeah, I remember we're watching them on stage, and this is again how lame I was doing at this festival. Poppers were getting passed round, and I just kept blasting poppers. And I had so much so I went blind. I would
How
change
much poppers makes you go blind?
Oh, a lot of poppers.
yeah, I've done a lot of poppers. I've not gone blind.
It was just, I swear, everything went white. And I was just like standing there. My mate Paul was just standing next to me. And I just remember being like there was like 30 seconds. And
I mean, they sound good.
I didn't like freak out. I didn't say anything. But in my head, I was like, I've gone blind from poppers. This is extremely embarrassing.
How long did you go blind for?
It was maybe about 90 seconds or something like that. But it was to the point where it's like, it's gone on long enough where you start thinking, this is it?
Yeah,
this is it?
I would panic immediately.
I'm blind now. Yeah. I'm blind. Imagine having to tell that to your parents.
You don't hear much about poppers casualties, do you? Like, there's always, at school, that wasn't a big emphasis in the drug education.
No,
the poor man who poppered himself blind.
It would just sound like an urban legend as well. Everyone would be like, oh, did you hear about the guy that went blind doing poppers?
A guide dog with a bottle of poppers with a big cross through it on the high-vis jacket.
Yeah, but again, it was just like that. To me, that was just like the two like big memories from that gig. It was
That's
just
really
like
funny.
It was so wild, man. But I love them. That they are. I love just how they kind of evolve and everything like that. They don't fucking sit back. I do kind of think it's quite like, I do cringe when I hear Alex Turner say something sometimes, and I'm just like, come on, man.
What kind of stuff? He's a really awkward interviewer.
And I just always
shit on this podcast.
Oh god, yeah. But I just think I always wonder what Alex Turner would think of him. Like, what would like 19-year-old Alex Turner think of Alex Turner now?
Yeah, but it's a
He'd
little
probably
bit
be very
like,
proud of himself.
yeah, he's done exactly what he wanted to, which not many people do.
Yeah.
But it's a bit like what we were saying earlier with, like, you know, you'd be embarrassed if all your early sets were online.
Oh god, yeah.
I mean, his whole adult life has been online.
Yeah,
even though he's not got it, he hates social media and stuff.
Yeah. I do like his attitude towards just not giving a fuck though.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's kind of like there's not that many sort of rock stars left, is there?
No.
It's kind of an old thing.
No, it's quite, everyone's quite beige.
Yeah, I can't go this Matty Healy guy, man.
That's literally, as soon as you said that, that's exactly the guy.
I guess he's not beige.
But he's just
a cunt.
He's just a drip.
And the music is shit.
Oh, like they are such a shit band. Like when you see people excited,
but people talk about them like they're good. I don't get it at all. It makes me feel old.
I'm always of the kind of thing of like people are like, you don't want to like shit on other people's like music taste and everything like that. And I don't want to be like kind of one of those people. But sometimes there's bands that come along and you go, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, am I blind on poppers right now? Because I do not see what everyone else is saying.
But I cannot fathom how like musicians can still do the same songs. If I've done like jokes for a year, I want to shoot myself in the head.
If I'm him, there's no way I'm playing I Bet You Look Good on the dance floor.
Oh, no fucking way.
No way.
I don't understand how they can still do that. Like the Rolling Stones come out and they go, right, here we go again, like Jumpin' Jack Flash.
They're not squeezing B-sides in either. They're playing the hits.
Yeah, and to think that they've done them thousands of times. Like in my head, I'm like, it's got a shelf of it, maybe like a year and a half, maybe, and then you just like get it in the bin.
Yeah, I guess it's where do you fall in the spectrum of like Bob Dylan, who just doesn't give a fuck, obviously, and he'll play the hits, but you won't even recognize them because he's like changed them all,
butchered them. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I probably wouldn't go and see Bob Dylan anyway.
No, I mean, I think a lot of my mates were huge Dylan fans and went to see him and came back and were like, that's the worst gig I've ever seen in my life. And they're like, some of them have got like Bob Dylan tattoos and everything like that. Like love him, and they just went and saw him and like shit.
I kind of admire the audacity though to like, you're at the Hydro, there's 12,000 people there, they've paid like 80 quid and you're just going to be shit. I think that's hilarious.
What's the best gig you've ever been to, do you think?
I honestly do think Arctic Monkeys at Transmit would be that.
Yeah.
Which seems crazy because usually if you see a band, you want to see them in front of their own audience and you want to see them in a small room ideally, but that's impossible now with them. Yeah. But they are my favourite band, and it was just like a perfect weekend. We went down to London to see Queens of the Stone Age on the Friday.
Nice.
Finsbury Park. It was like baking hot, and like Iggy Pop was on before and Run the Jewels. Oh. And we just had such a good time. And then we got the train back up the next day. Saw Mick McCarthy on the train, the football manager. Yeah? That was probably the highlight of the weekend. I went for a piss, came back. You'll never guess. Mick McCarthy's in Coach C. Go and have a look at him.
Was he managing at the time?
I think he was between jobs. He's probably emailing his agent, getting some feelers out there. And and then we had Arctic Monkeys next day, and it was during the World Cup. Yeah. On the Friday before Queens of Stone Age was the France-Argentina game when Mbappe scored and all that. It was like one of the best games of football I've ever seen.
Incredible.
And then it was like just like a perfect night. You can watch it on YouTube on the Arctic Monkeys drums. I do think it's one of the best gigs I've ever been to for sure.
In comparison, what was the first gig you ever went to?
Less cool.
Yeah.
It was at Meadowbank Arena.
Oh yeah.
In Edinburgh, and it was the Kaiser Chiefs.
All right.
Supported by The View and the Pigeon Detectives.
Oh, fucking
which,
hell.
If you and me at 14, that's a fucking
brilliant
solid
lineup.
lineup.
You are creaming your panties over that. That's insane.
Consider them cream. What about you?
Oh, my first one was not cool at all. At the time, I'm thinking I'm the coolest person going to school the next day. Went to see Limp Bizkit.
Yes. How old are you? Slightly older than me, right?
I'm 37 this year.
Right, okay.
Yeah, a little bit older. So
I'm just about 30. That's the difference.
Yeah.
I'm glad I wasn't of an age to be into Limp Bizkit. They was just slightly too much for me.
I was heavily into them, and I just thought
Backwards cap.
No, I didn't do the cap. Thankfully, I wasn't a little virgin like that.
Little goatee.
I would have grown the goatee. I would have worn the goatee. But I just thought that was like the coolest thing ever. And that I was going to go and see Limp Bizkit at the
Where did you see them?
SECC, Glasgow. And it was just, I remember, it was my mate's dad dropped us off and just let us, like fucking two feral little animals, just ran into this place and just had like the time of our lives. Split up almost instantly as soon as we went in. Because we'd never done anything like this before. But like 13,
just loose.
14 years old, and we're in this place and lose each other. About an hour goes by into the gig, and I just...
Who's supporting?
A band called Godsmack.
Don't remember them.
Which
good name though.
Yeah, Godsmack's good.
Godsmack. They were like... I had a very like set, like, I like Papa Roach, and I like Limp Bizkit. And I like, who was the other one? Like, Linkin Park.
Of course.
I was into those. Yeah. So if anything deviated outside of that, I was like, this is
Godsmack.
What's this, rock and roll? What's this nonsense? So they were on and they were shit. Didn't enjoy that. I was standing by myself watching a band I didn't like.
Yeah.
So midway in Limp Bizkit, I'm just looking around for me, haven't seen him in ages, and then he just fucking crowd surfs past me in the most surreal moment, and crowd surfs all the way to the front, and I was just like, I just still remember his look on his face. It just like,
during Godsmack?
No, during Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, who's crowd surfing at the support band? Come on.
Yeah, it's not a thing you do.
How many good songs do Limp Bizkit have?
Oof. Good question.
Because in my head, I think it's Just Rollin'. I can't think of another one.
Well, they had... I mean, I couldn't...
Although I feel like the videos were always on Kerrang.
Yeah. So there was a song that used to do live, and again, this is a lame confession here. This was... They used to do it... Fred
Confession here? It's not an airplane I've heard of.
It was... he used to do a song with like Redman or Method Man. It was one of the two, and it was called End Together Now. And what would happen is that obviously Redman wouldn't go on tour with him. So what he would do is he would invite someone up from the audience to sing Redman's bit.
That's a risk.
Yeah. But I'd seen loads of videos of this working. So in my head, I was like, I'm going to be Redman. So I would like, on the run up to the gig.
Big sign, can I be Redman?
And I was like tiny. I was like a 13-year-old, like, fucking can't see me in the crowd. In my head, for weeks before I learned the lyrics to it, because I was like in my bedroom, like
moment.
rapping.
And there'll be a record producer in, and they'll spot me.
And be like, "You've got something, son. Come with me."
We've sacked Godsmack. You're a new opener.
And I was just so far at the back of the room, I wasn't even in contention for it. And weirdly, I don't know what your thoughts on this are. Mosh pits. I
could do without them nowadays.
I don't get. I literally, that was the first time I'd ever seen them, and it blew my mind what was going on. Just everyone, they just formed a circle, and then they all just beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
And this is a concept I will never understand.
I've always found it kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
But at least if you're at like, Limp Bizkit is probably acceptable to a degree, and like the part of their music is like, we're kind of heavy.
Yeah.
They're not really. But if you're going to like a metal gig or something like that, I kind of get that because it's part of the culture of like, it's thrash metal and we're all jumping about, and that's part of it.
Yeah.
But I was an indie kid, and sometimes it'd be more on the rockier end of it.
Yeah.
But I never thought the music merited a mosh pit. Like sometimes there's guitar solos or they'll rock out or whatever.
Yeah.
But I always felt like this is cultural appropriation, boys. You can't wear a Fred Perry and be in a mosh pit. Pick a team.
Yeah, you can't do it. And people are like full blown punching each other in the face.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's happening here?
Big incel vibes.
Yeah.
Have you seen that Woodstock documentary?
I've seen clips of like the fights.
Yeah, you should watch it.
Is it the famous?
I think Limp Bizkit are in it.
I've seen the clips of that of when they are like, don't know what the song is, they kick into the song, and there's like about a fucking million people just.
In fact, I think it is them that are really. The crowd was so fractious, and it was like big incel vibes before that was a thing, and it was like fucking anarchy in a bad way.
Yeah,
and I think it was Fred Durst that was like riling them up. Because there was a song like, and he's
got a song called Break
what the sex community call edging. He was edging the audience.
Yeah, I think this is it.
Yeah. This is it.
Stuff.
Yeah, this is it. The funny thing about that documentary is because obviously the original Woodstock has like a culture of like, you know, the free love hippie.
Yeah.
And this was kind of marketed as if it would also have that. So amongst all this, there's just like Buddhist monks kicking about in robes.
It's actually what it says. Yeah. Oh my god.
It's really funny.
Yeah, it's horrible to think that I used to look back and think that guy was the coolest man on earth.
And I've always been fascinated by, and kind of especially now that like we do something creative where you need to find your own audience and stuff.
Yeah.
I've always been fascinated by bands like, you know, like Fall Out Boy or something like that, where like, at what point do you learn that all your fans are 12-year-old girls when you're a bunch of like 40-year-old men? And is that not fucking weird?
Yeah.
Like you're writing songs, you're learning instruments, and you put the band together and you're slugging out in pubs and that. And then like the first night of your tour, you peek through the curtain, I wonder who's here, and it's just like a sea of fucking 12-year-old girls.
Yeah, that's got to be an uncomfortable moment when you find out who your audience are and you don't like them.
Yeah, like you've written a song about how, I don't know, you love or whatever it is, like some human emotion that's raw to you as like a 35-year-old man, and the only people that are relating to it are actually like kids.
You would feel like very strange carrying on. You would probably then everything after that you'd probably write to be like try and put them off because you just wouldn't want that.
Yeah,
you just write like a very personal song. You're like, my wife divorced me, my life is a nightmare, and there's a 12-year-old being like, I've been there.
Yeah,
that's part.
I mean, that's what my next friend show's going to be like. I wonder if it's going to be, I've got a 16 plus.
I don't know. This is fucking so outdated. Something you did in.
It's not racist, is it?
It's something you did in 2019, which I think is it's quite a cool thing. When you interviewed the political leaders.
Yes.
I don't know if this is like fucking really like you've talked about this 1,000 times.
No, it's all right.
But I mean, how did that come
None of them still in office. I've outlasted all of them.
Exactly.
I'm still doing my job.
So you were Archie Pepper from Scott Squad, and you interviewed the 3 or 4 political leaders.
It was, Nicholas Sturgeon, SNP. I'm forgetting cunts' names now. Willie Rennie, Lib Dem. Jackson Carlaw was the name of the Tory leader, and Richard Leonard, I think, was the name of the Labour guy. But I actually really liked him. I thought he was cool.
Yeah. How did that even come about, man? That seems
kind of weird. Like, I think from what I know now about TV is just like you just pitch loads of wild random shit, and then occasionally something gets through. And I had no notice. Like Joe Juliet, who's now a commissioner at Channel 4, and at the time, well, he was the creator of Scott Squad, and he's like a mate now, but he just he DM'd me on Twitter and went, "What are you doing tomorrow?" I was like, "Nothing. Why? Do you want to have a coffee?" He was like, "No, you're interviewing Nicholas Sturgeon." I was like, "Fuck off, no, man." I was like, "Yeah, you are." I was like, "You're not. No, you're bamming me up." So I actually had like 24 hours notice, and it was just like little clips online kind of thing. It was like the chief was actually doing a long form interview, and then I was doing a wee piss takey one.
Yeah,
it was kind of a wild day. I didn't know who any of them were. I mean, apart from I knew Sturgeon, obviously.
Yeah,
but
to be chucked, that's in at the deep end. To just be like 24 hours notice.
Yeah,
he's the First Minister of Scotland.
Not politically engaged at all.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're just in this like hotel all day filming, and like me and my pal Nathan, who's like a comedy writer who was sort of involved in it. We're just sitting like we had this double room. We're both sitting on these single beds watching like Come Dine With Me all day, eating biscuits, and then occasionally like, right, you need to interview someone. You'd walk through, and my whole thing was that I just had to sort of take the piss a bit.
Yeah. Which so you did. Is that not quite intimidating to go to the First Minister and then having to take the piss out of her a bit?
Yeah, that was weird actually. Because now I think about it as well, what would have been like 20? When was that? Was that 2019? Was it?
I think so. Yeah.
4 years ago, so I was like 25.
Yeah.
The fucking balls of that. You know
and you didn't like you were kind of in your character, but it was still just like a bit like it didn't look like you were nervous or hesitating about just
No, I think I didn't have time to be nervous. I think
Yeah.
that's part of it when you're like, and you know this from stand-up. I don't know what you were like when you started, but I was terrified when I started.
Oh,
but you
God,
got to look comfortable.
Yeah.
So I've got good at looking comfortable when I'm uncomfortable now.
Yeah.
So I guess you're just using those skills. But yeah, really weird. And it's just funny, like, you know, when do you meet politicians in your real life?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like, it's funny how you can kind of identify, if you asked a foreigner to come in and who they didn't know even what the parties were, they'd still be able to kind of tell who was who.
Yeah.
Like the Tory guy literally had like a cashmere jumper over his shoulders like that. Like if you wrote that in a script, you'd be like, change that. That's fucking, that's on the nose. That's crazy. And the Lib Dem guy who was really nice, but he was just like had nowhere else to be. He was just like hanging around, you know, just like, I was busier than the fucking Lib Dem. You know, it's all that kind of stuff. And Sturgeon was like, I only had a very small amount of time with her because obviously she's got 1,000 places to be.
Yeah.
And she was very just like on it, no, like just like so like
Professional.
just smart and straight down the line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, it was a funny day. It's really weird. And I forget that it happens until someone will mention it in like, this kind of context.
Because when it happened, then I was just thinking, holy shit, that's mental.
Yeah.
Are you doing? You kind of more into doing more TV stuff now? Is it off the back of Scott Squad? So were you just like acting in it, and then suddenly you kind of moved up to like kind of writing, directing?
Yeah, so it all happened by accident. It was
Really?
I got an audition just to go in like the way we all like they were very good at seeing almost everybody they
Yeah.
could. And now I was when it was still a thing, I was taking the auditions and stuff. But they must have just saw me at a gig at like Red Raw or something like that, and then I got on for one, and then they wanted me on for more, and then I was in it for like years.
Yeah.
And
That's mad.
yeah, I just started writing a little for them and doing other things, and so I just knew everybody. And then so when Joe left, I kind of was like ideally placed to kind of like, I'll just pick up some of this slack.
Class.
And then from that, it's like, yeah, like just being involved in other projects. And
yeah,
it's great, man, because I think weirdly, before I started stand up, I wrote sketches for this like show that was on telly. It was like a reach out thing for young writers.
yeah,
And I think if it's really hard to be a comedy writer, because at least with stand up, you can feel proactive. You're going out, you do it, you've got the thought, you perform it at night. Whereas if you're writing, it's like you're just alone in your room and no one might ever see these scripts.
yeah.
I think if I'd have known, like, if I could have my now writing career now, if I knew there was a path to that without doing stand up, I probably wouldn't have bothered in the first place.
Really?
But it's all just came out of stand up now. So
Right.
it's sort of worked itself out.
Fucking hell, man, that's class.
Yeah, I'm really lucky. It's really great. But I just kind of treat it all as like a learning experience of like getting to contribute, you know, to different projects. And stuff,
now
like.
you're just kind of, it's almost, because I saw you and Steven did a kind of bit of a talk where you were almost like teaching the people. Is that a bit of a surreal moment to kind of going like, fucking, I was on the other side a few years back.
Yeah, that was weird because like obviously you can't say it every time you have an answer. Be like, well, obviously don't listen to me, but you know, like that's what you think every time.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like, you know, in stand up when you start, you're like brand new and you're the new guy.
Yeah,
and then you feel like that for like longer than you are.
Yeah,
and then like after COVID, I was suddenly looking around at all these new people, going, I'm not the new guy anymore.
Yeah,
and it's a bit like that where you're like, fuck, I have actually been doing this a while now.
Yeah,
I have actually learned some stuff.
was that a proper moment you kind of go like, oh, that's fucking, I'm doing what I'm doing is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm always like, I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm like that ambitious about stuff, but I'm always really proud of myself for just doing it in the first place. Of like, to me, no matter what happens in my career, good or bad, like just the fact that I got up and did that first gig is still insane to me. And that's like, it's never getting better than that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you feel like that?
Yeah, I still feel it's quite, I just have to keep going. That's the thing. If in my head, I'll keep thinking like, it's so disconnected from the beginning, because it's like, what, like 6-7 years down the line. But now I'm just thinking, just keep going. I don't really know where it's going, but I'm just like, I just don't want to stop.
Don't quit.
Yeah,
that's the only advice.
If I took 2 months off or anything like that, I'd probably be like, I'm not fucking coming back.
The amount of people that do that, yeah. Because maybe you'll get another good opportunity, you can go travelling or get a good job or whatever, and you're like, it's hard to say no to that. But
yeah,
I think no matter what you're doing, if you just keep in it, keep in the game, that's the only real.
And that's it. I'm just no matter what, just keep battering through it. But again, I don't really know what the fuck I'm gonna do. And like, there's no like plan to this. It's just like,
no, imagine this was the plan, me and you.
This is it.
Because you're not thinking like, you start like 8 years ago and you're like, I need to write 5 minutes and I'll do Red Raw.
Yeah.
You're not envisioning, you know, 8 years down the line you're in somebody's fucking shed talking into a mic. Do you know what I mean? Like, this was never the plan.
No, that definitely was.
But it's fun. It's nice to be here. I'm a fan. I listen.
Thanks, man.
But it's never like, you know.
Yeah, and it's always come back to the thing we were talking about with Susan, and we were talking about earlier, just how like the game changed since we got in, and it is now you're having to do. You don't have a choice. You have to do all these other things, or people just don't give a fuck. Like people will book you on the back of your social media following. Yeah,
yeah. And I always think now, like because I used to love comedy growing up and sitcoms and stand up and everything, but if I was growing up now and most of comedy is like little sketches and stuff on phones. I don't know if I would feel the same impulse to do it.
No, I probably wouldn't either.
I don't know if I'd fancy a bit of that.
No, I think when I saw it was on TV very occasionally. I wasn't like flooded with it on my phone every day or anything like that, and that was what made me want to get in it. Now it's just like, imagine thinking, oh, I've got to put out crowd work clips as soon as I start. I've seen people like I gigged with a guy. The second gig, he was putting out crowd work clips.
Yeah. And
I was like, nuts, what the fuck are you doing? Sit on this shit for at least 5 years.
Keep your powder dry for 5 years.
Yeah. But before I go, Stu, I'm going to try and get other people on this podcast. So if you want to take a stab, you can name anyone. I knew this was
coming as well, and I still didn't prepare.
Name someone, and then I'll try and get them on the podcast. So far, I've got Lewis Hamilton, Solange Knowles. Thank you, Susan Riddle. You fucked me there. And anyone else you want to do.
When I hear that name, I was just thinking, like the Gaelic, Slange.
That's
Slange.
What I think of. Yeah. Have a wee think.
Well, my temptation is to get someone that would be easy to get on, but I know you would hate.
Oh, fucking hell.
Like someone we know personally that I know you don't
like. Well played. Because I will, that's the thing, if you say this person's name, I will do it, so...
I'm joking.
Oh my God.
Complete that, because we're gonna cut that anyway, weren't we? I just wanted to make you spit your drink up.
I nearly did. Fucking over
All right, who could you get? Oh, someone really dry, like Neil Oliver.
Neil Oliver, I don't think I know him.
The historian he's like an anti-vaxxer. He's
really?
Yeah, he's a mad cunt. He's
right, okay.
He's a terrible guy.
Is he like a GB News guy?
Yeah, 100 more than anyone. He's the one that was like a big wet dog. He used to present Coast. Brains full of worms.
Can we get a picture of him? Yeah. Oh fuck yeah! You fucked me there.
He'd look at you like that the whole hour as well.
Well, the best part I think is the title of the article, which is historian Neil Oliver compares European COVID lockdown to Nazi propaganda.
Yeah, there you go.
So
get you cancelled. I'll soak up these spandex bookings when you're not on the circuit.
He's right on brand for this podcast as well.
No, let's not do that, because he would probably do it, because he's actually what?
Yeah, he's a master. Oh fuck's sake!
All right, let's go for someone more neutral then. Let's say, the Archbishop of Canterbury.
Fuck it, fair enough. I will send you evidence that I've invited this guy on. The Archbishop of Canterbury. Fucking hell. All 3 suggestions are insane.
Dream blunt rotation, that.
Oh, perfect. Well, cheers, dude. Thanks so much for coming.
Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it. It's been
fun.
Thanks
so much, man. Yeah. Thank you very much, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you.